Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Thursday's edition of the dceu Daily. After months and months and begging Bitsy Tulloch and everyone at Superman and Lois to show us a reveal of Tyler Heckling's brand new Superman costume for the Superman and Lois TV show, we got a massive, beautiful surprise yesterday. And if you're a Superman fan, a true blue Superman fan, you will be very, very, very excited. So as you can see, it has a lot of similarities to Cavill's Snyderverse costume. Now, it doesn't look exactly like it. First of all, the elephant in the room, there is no red trunks. Now, I love the red trunks, but I'm not a red trunks Nazi. I know some people are, so I don't want to offend anyone because Superman has many fans who love different things about him. And the costume is very important to a lot of people. It's important to me. It stands for something great. It's the S shield, the Kryptonian shield for hope, is one of the most, Kryptonian, one of the most recognizable symbols in the world, just behind the Christian cross. So that says everything for you, doesn't it? Look, it looks brilliant. So his kind of neckline's a little higher up than normal, but no problem with that. But the cape, let's zoom in on the cape. The cape is nice and long. Now, Cavill's cape, especially Man of Steel, drags along the floor. It doesn't look like this one's going to drag across the floor, but it's a very big cape. I think no one really liked the Superman Returns cape. It was literally coming up to the middle of his back. It was ridiculous. But this is a lot better. A lot better. So the cape's pretty awesome. You've got the red belt. Looks pretty cool. Let's try and zoom in a bit. Sorry it's so amateur, but I don't have editing software. Sorry about that. But as I say, as a Superman fan, this looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm 100% behind this design. So should we find out the details about this design? Should we talk to the people? Should we see if we can find any articles about them describing it and the full process of designing this suit? And by the way, the people who designed the Titans costumes on the Titans TV show actually designed this costume as well. And I do like the Titans stuff. It is magnifique. I found one from IGN, and this is by Adam Bankhurst, and there's quite a few quotes on this one. There's lots of people reacting to the costume reveal. Tyler Heckling says some beautiful stuff. The designer, the showrunner. So shall we just read this and get the details about the full process of the costume that they have given us? I'm so pumped. Superman's my #1 character, so it's a very exciting day in time for me. Superman and Lois, Tyler Heckling's new Arrowverse costume revealed by Adam Bankhurst. The CW has revealed Tyler Heckling's new Superman suit in the upcoming Arrowverse spin-off Superman and Lois. Revealed on Twitter, this new Superman suit will make its debut when Superman and Lois premieres on the CW on Tuesday, February the 23rd. This new suit was teased earlier this year at a panel at DC Fandom. Enter the Multiverse, and executive producer Todd Helbing described the suit as really badass. With the cape attached to the collar, it features a more classically comic booky look than the more Injustice style approach that was previously used, and is also somewhat reminiscent of Superman's look in 2017's DC Rebirth. The texturing also seems to be inspired by the DCEU version of Superman, and I've just said that it does look like that anyway. This is what Tyler Heckling, is this Tyler Heckling? Yeah, this is Tyler Heckling's reaction to the costume reveal. I find that the new suit is representative of the show. Superman actor Tyler Heckling said, just as this suit is unique and set apart from the ones that preceded it, the story we're telling about Clark Superman at this point in his life is unique and something we've never seen before. I appreciate the opportunity to wear the suit and the responsibility that comes with it too, right? But it's always interesting when I'm asked how I feel about my new suit, because I've always felt that the suit doesn't belong to me. It belongs to everyone that finds some kind of meaning in that suit, in the symbol on the chest. I just happen to be the one wearing it. I come from the world of baseball and a line of coaches that always preached that the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the one on the back. Because when you wear that jersey, it represents not only you, but your entire team and everyone that has ever worn that jersey that came before you. So when I wear the suit, I'm going to cry in a minute. That's what it means to me. It represents everything that Superman stands for and has stood for almost a century now. And I look forward to carrying on that tradition. I tell you what, Tyler, I don't know if you said it or a publicist wrote that for you, but those are fucking beautiful thoughts, my friend. So let's have a look at some more. So the new suit was designed by Laura Jean Shannon and her super suits team alongside creative character engineering, and both harkens back to the Superman we all grew up with, while grounding him and elevating the suit in the modern arena with updated techniques and applications. We got Superman into some custom athletic-inspired super boots as a jumping-off point and focused on a new neckline and cape to maximise the billowing and movement we all love to see in the books and films that have defined this character for generations, Shannon said. A streamlined muscle structure and updated paint job combined with some dynamic design lines and sculptured armoured belt all took his established custom fabric into the new direction to solidify the new look for Superman in Superman and Lois. Wow. Superman and Lois, when it debuts early next year, will tell a more grounded Superman story and will focus on a married Clark Kent and Lois Lane, as well as their two teenage sons. The family moved to Smallville after a tragic event that has yet to be unveiled and will feature a mixture of family drama and epic action. Wow. So that's great. It's great to get everyone's thought processes of the costume. And I haven't met a Superman fan who hasn't got anything positive to say about this costume design. I mean, there's still people saying, well, it's on the CW. How good is it going to be? Right. I'm with you. I have those issues too. But Todd Helbing, if that's how you pronounce his surname, Todd ran The Flash for its first 2 seasons. The Flash first 2 seasons are one of the best 2 seasons of superhero TV in the history of, comic book TV and superhero TV. He's a really good guy. And he's going to do this show and these characters justice. And what I like about what he's doing, it's a very, very original take. We're not rehashing the same old stuff. This isn't actually an origin story. We haven't seen Clark's origin, either in the second season of Supergirl, or, we don't know his thought process or how he feels. We're going to find all of this out. We may even get flashbacks to his origins. But one thing's for sure, it's a really different show. But that costume is very reminiscent of Snyder's Man of Steel costume. Not exactly the same. It has some new stuff in it, but I like it because it looks absolutely fucking hardcore. And please comment down below in the comments and let me know how you feel about this costume. And if you've got doubts about the new Superman and Lois show, are you excited like I am? It's a very exciting time to be a DC, but especially a Superman fan. Well, I was shocked to my very core yesterday when Patty Jenkins revealed there's at least one post-credit scene in Wonder Woman 84 held back from any viewings we've had so far. So even I, who have seen this film twice already, both the test screening and an early screening as well a few months ago that I had, there was no post-credit scenes. There may even be 2 post-credit scenes, but this is what Patty Jenkins had to say. Let that be something to say for the audience, just because, God forbid, somebody writes about it. You're like, well, then that fun, what? Let me say that again. Well then, what fun was it? Now, we should have just attached it to the end of the movie. So basically what she's saying is, I know that would be smart, but we can't do that with COVID, right? Now, too many people can't see it safely. Now, what she's responding to there is they were saying, is this post-credit scene or scenes going to be attached to the streaming version over on HBO Max? Or is it just going to be in movie theatres? She goes, yeah, well, that's a good idea, but not everyone can go to the movie theatre and you'd be punishing them. And plus, it wouldn't do justice to the model they're trying to create. They're trying to say that you can watch this at home safely, as well as go out, put on a mask and watch it in theatres where they're open, right? You would be punishing people if they couldn't see that post-credit scene on HBO Max, and that would be ridiculous. So, whether you see it on HBO Max or like me, you'll be going to see it in a theatre on December the 16th or whatever date it's released in your country, you will see at least one Wonder Woman 84 post-credit scene. So what's it going to be? Well, first of all, if they're keeping it a secret, it's fucking massive. It's fucking huge. I believe that this will be the first cameo we heard rumours about from Henry Cavill's Superman. Do I know this for a fact? Has anyone told me this? No. No one has told me this, but I believe it to be so. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe it's what I want. I believe this could be a moment where we see Henry Cavill's Superman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman together. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be amazing? So fingers crossed. And again, comments down below. What do you think the post-credit scene or scenes on Wonder Woman 84 will be? Will it be a continuation of what we've seen in the film, or will it be something new? Will it be a cameo? Don't forget, recently they were asking Patty Jenkins if there'd be any superhero cameos in Wonder Woman 3, and she said only if it serves the story. It's interesting that she was asked that in the first place. So listen, it could be absolutely anything. But again, there is hope here that we could have a Henry Cavill post-credit scene in Wonder Woman 84. And if there's two, we've got two big sequences to look forward to. But it might just be one. But I've got a feeling it's two post-credit scenes. How do I feel about post-credit scenes? First of all, let's get this out the way. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. People keep on saying that the MCU created the post-credit scene. No. Many films have had them. Masters of the Universe had one with Skeletor coming up from the swamp. Do you remember that? I'll be back. He never was, but it was a great post-credit scene. And of course, the first superhero movie to have it was Green Lantern, where we actually saw a Sinestro post-credit scene. So it wasn't the MCU, right? It wasn't the MCU. Or was it? Was it the MCU did it first? What year was Green Lantern? Actually, Green Lantern was 2011, wasn't it? Iron Man was 2008. Yeah, so they did do it first. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't belong. The concept doesn't belong to the MCU. I really love post-credit scenes. It really does amp up your excitement for the next movie and the future of the franchise. And I want to see them in every single movie. So really looking forward to refreshing my memory on Wonder Woman 84 and seeing at least one post-credit scene that could be, maybe, possibly, maybe not, Henry Cavill. We'll have to wait and see. Fellow Zack Snyder fans, you're going to love this if you're a fan of the Snyderverse, because Patty Jenkins has never ever seen a theatrical release of Justice League. This is brilliant. I didn't think she'd be so blatant, but this is interesting. In a new interview with Cinema Blend, and she did have an interview with Uncle Sean, a.k.a. Sean O'Connell. In an interview with Cinema Blend, Wonder Woman 1984 director Patty Jenkins reveals that she never saw the theatrical cut of Justice League when it released in November 2017. I wish I didn't. When asked if she saw the Whedon film to understand how Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was handled in her most recent installment, Jenkins responded with a lengthy answer. I actually haven't read this. Let's have a look at this. No. I think that all of us DC directors tossed that out just as much as the fans did. Oh my God. This is absolutely fucking priceless. Listen to this. Listen to how much now Warner Media are going with us, the fans. And if you think there's not a future for Zack Snyder's Snyderverse, this is... Oh my God, this is brilliant. Should I start again? Because this is just liquid gold. No, I think that's all of us DC directors tossed that out just as much as the fans did. But also I felt that version contradicted my first movie in many ways. And this current movie, which I was already in production on. So then what are you going to do? I was like, you would have to play ball in both directions in order for that to work. Wow. Jenkins, Patty's not leaving it, mate. She's going on about this. Listen to this. The only thing I have done and have always tried to do is I knew when Zack was doing Justice League where she sort of ends up. So I always tried, I didn't change her suit because I never want to. I don't want to contradict his films. Well done, Pats. You know. But yet I have to have my own films. That's right. And he's been very supportive of that. And so I think that Justice League was kind of an outlier. They were trying to turn one thing into kind of another. And so then it becomes, I don't recognise half of these characters. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh my God. Patty Jenkins is the first person, the biggest creative. And I don't always agree with Patty, by the way. I don't agree about her opinion about movie theatres and streaming and all that. And we'll go into that a little bit later. But this is absolutely liquid gold. She's absolutely slaughtered Whedon's movie and what he and Sujihara were attempting to do. Wow. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh my God. Oh my, this is just, I'm just trying to find for you if there's anything else, and for me, because I haven't read any of that before. I like to react to these things with you guys when I do the video, because we're all fans at the end of the day. I just want to go back to her initial, to the first line of her initial statement, because it's so funny. Look, we got to do this, right? Where are we, right? Listen to this. This is the first line. This is hilarious. Sorry if I'm dragging this out a bit. We'll go on to saying you in a minute. But this is explosive. No, I think that's all of us DC directors tossed that out just as much as the fans did. Wow. No, us DC directors tossed it out as much as the fans did. Us DC directors are with the fans, right? With the fans. We get it. We understand it. What was done to Zack was wrong. Everyone is team Zack Snyder. She's speaking not only for herself, but for the studio, Warner Media, and HBO Max and AT&T. Basically, this is what I predicted. You know, when Zack came out and politely and amicably said, well, you know, Justice League will be part, he didn't call it Justice League, of course, I am. But he said Justice League is probably more like the centralised dceu timeline, and then I'm doing some Elseworld. So he was very amicable with what he said. He didn't want to be disrespectful to Joss Whedon. And let's be honest, Whedon was disrespectful for him on that DC Daily, laughing about him. Do you remember that? Anyway, Zack's a gentleman. We know that. But if we are to take this of what Patty says, she's basically slaying Justice League, which is a beautiful thing. I didn't expect her to. This is blatant. And no one comes out and says this without the studio say so. They are now saying, you know what she's saying, and you know what the studio is saying? This film, Justice League, is no longer canon. It's not canon. It never was canon. What she's blatantly saying, and what Warner Media are blatantly saying, is that Zack Snyder's Justice League is the canon for DCEU, not Justice League. Justice League's a mess. That's the one that's being treated as the embarrassing film now. And it's because of you, and because of me, and because of what Zack was posting on Vero and what he pushed for us to do. This is why. So all of us should take a bow and a round of applause. This is brilliant. A DCEU director, one of the best DC Extended Universe directors, has pretty much said all of us directors, like the fans, tossed that film out ages ago because we wanted nothing to do with it, because it's a piece of shit. It basically disrespects Zack Snyder and the brilliant universe that he built up. Thank you, Patty Jenkins. I really respect you for what you said there. I'm just so happy, and I'm sure you are too, and it's also fucking hilarious. It looks like this is the Patty Jenkins show today. She responds to Christopher Nolan's reaction to Warner Media releasing movies on HBO Max and a theatrical at the same time. This is what she had to say. I agree with Chris. I don't think it's great for the future of filmmaking when COVID has passed. However, our film was different. It was presented in a very different way, which is that we are at the height of the pandemic right now and people are really suffering and struggling. And the choices are to sit on our film and wait or to release it. And to me, the only choice was to release it, like the other films. I don't know if her quote continues. No. And what do I think about what she said? Listen, she's trying to be amicable. She's trying to be, she's trying to say, I understand his fears. Do you know what? I understand his fears. I care about the cinematic process, the theatre experience. I care about it. I do want to preserve it. So all these months when I've been saying, fuck theatres, I just want to see the film, I don't say it because I don't want theatres anymore. That's not the point. The point is, boys and girls and everybody else, right, whatever gender and race you are, it's up to you if you want to preserve the theatrical experience. And all you have to do is go there in your mask and spend your money and make sure these films, starting with Wonder Woman 1984, make record-breaking box office. If you do that, then you preserve the theatrical experience and you can go home in America and watch it on HBO Max. And if you do both, and if you support both platforms, this will be the future. But one won't hurt the other. There can be a balance here. There really can. And I understand what Chris is saying. And I understand he's upset that he wasn't consulted and others weren't consulted. But you were going to put a wall in their way. So this is why they never told you in the first place. Continuing on this subject, Patty Jenkins was talking to Aaron Sorkin, who's an absolute legend, right? So this is what they both had to say. This is what Sorkin said. We're all scared that everything's going to change now, Sorkin said to Jenkins, that movie theatres are basically going to become like art houses and that the films that you and I make will only be seen on streaming services. He continued, I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that for 4,000 years, nothing has replaced the experience of being part of an audience. That shared experience being in a theatre when the lights go down. Everyone laughing at the same time, gasping at the same time, being silent at the same time, and having the final moment of the film reverberate at the same time. I agree. It's a beautiful experience and we want to preserve it, right? And I don't think streaming hurts that, because I think ultimately people who support that experience will go. I think there's a lot of people I talk to who are willing to sit at home and watch these movies, but I think there's more people willing to go and support them. And, in the movie theatre, it's like people who sit at home and watch football and people who go to the matches. Has people watching them on the TV taken people away from the terraces? No. They still pack out those stadiums, don't they? Exactly. Anyway, Jenkins agreed. Nothing that the death of moviegoing has been foretold since the advent of television in the 1950s, but with so many media companies now aggressively placing streaming at the centre of their business, Warner Media with HBO Max, Disney with Disney Plus, and Hulu, Comcast with Peacock, Viacom, CBS with Paramount Plus and Pluto TV, and not to mention Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime Video, and of course Netflix. Jenkins also believes the industry is missing a considerable economic opportunity. So they go on, and as Sorkin nodded, Jenkins evoked United Artists, the company founded in 1919 by director D.W. Griffiths and actors Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks to favour artists' interests over then nascent studio system. It's not going to be that easy, she said, of the shift to streaming. I think there's a sentiment right now that a change is coming and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that doesn't take into consideration artists who can be very much United Artists it up and make a big change. I hope that you are at the forefront of those United Artists, Sorkin said. Jenkins laughed. Believe me, it's in my mind. Look, it's really funny. So what she's basically saying is that if the artists, the directors, the actors stand up and say, no, we know the Guild has already written to Anne Sarnoff to explain, wanting an explanation for what they've done with HBO Max, streaming these films at the same time as they're going to be released in movie theatres. So the Guild represents all the actors and all the directors. So it's, let me explain, because George Lucas always used to have the thing come up at the start of each Star Wars film, but he didn't have credits. That got him into trouble with the Writers Guild, and he had to leave that, and he got a fine for Empire Strikes Back, if I remember rightly. Anyway, the Guild are a very powerful thing. They're like a union who represent everyone. So they're going to have to explain that decision. Ultimately, nobody can stop any studio from doing this. And today, we've got where they're going to announce Disney's slate. Disney could announced that Disney Plus are going to do the same thing as Warner Media and HBO Max for next season's releases. We will have to wait and see till later. So studios have decided to do this now. It's going to happen. And I do foresee this civil war happening. Now, the only thing the Guild and the artists, directors and actors can do is form their own studios or their own studio. Basically, a United Artist. That's exactly what Patty's kind of suggesting, right? So what would happen is they would have their own studio. They would release their films in movie theatres. They would keep to the old system. The problem they have is they don't have any IPs. Now, of course, that's not to say they're not clever enough to create huge IPs with their talent pool and imagination, but also what the studios could do is create their own academy of talent. Or they could employ directors from film schools, which is what they were doing in the early 70s and late 70s. This is how George Lucas made American Graffiti and later Star Wars. This is what they were doing back then, because the Warners and the Zenix, they sold the studios. So I think I think this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a divide where the studios do their thing with the streaming and releasing in movie theatres, and where the artists actually go out on their own and create a studio. I think this is great for the consumer, by the way, if they do this, because not only does it, protect movie theatres, it also gives us more of a choice. And what you're going to see by that, the artists in their studio could potentially do more varied films. They won't be under these studios' rules just to make superheroes, blockbusters. We could see the variety we used to have in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early noughties. This actually could be a very good thing for the entertainment industry. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So Patty's suggestion actually isn't a bad one. Scott Edwards has been on to me again. Don't forget, you can tag me over on Twitter at MoviesTVMad, making suggestions, sending me posters, as Scott has just done. Ask me questions with Scott's done, and I'll be answering that question very, very shortly. You can suggest articles. Basically, you can suggest videos for me to do, and if I've got the time, I'll do them. And of course, like I've done with Scott, I'll give you a shout out. So this is a poster for Diggle's Green Arrow, and we see the rest of the team from Arrowverse there as well. So it's a really, really cool poster, Scott, and thanks for sending that to me. It's really, really awesome. So I love that poster, and my hopes really, because what he's done, he said, Movies TV Mad. Also, here's a cool picture you can show off for tomorrow for the DCEU Daily, and talk about your hopes for Diggle's upcoming appearances. My hopes for his appearances, Scott, are simple. That we actually get a proper arc and explanation about what he's been doing since we last saw him, and this arc and story of him embracing becoming the Green Lantern. That's what I want. That's what I think they're going to do. And I'm very, very excited for it. Right, now Scott asked me another question. Movies TV Mad, here's my question for tomorrow's DCEU Daily. Do you think Michael Keaton's appearance as Batman in the Flash movie will be just a one-off appearance, or will he appear on other movies too? Also, would you like to see White Canary cross over into films also? Will we? We won't see White Canary be part of any cinematic universe. I think we may see her do maybe a movie on HBO Max and things like that. But I'd be very surprised if we saw her in the centralised cinematic universe. But we are in the multiverse strategy now, Scott, so who knows? Now, in terms of Michael Keaton's Batman returning in Andy Muschietti's Flashpoint, I think there's been lots of rumours about this. When this spilled out, I heard a lot of things. Not much can be substantiated, but this is what I've already heard, that he will play a massive role in the Flashpoint movie. This is not like Maguire's Spider-Man or Andy Garfield's Spider-Man or any of these characters that are going to be in Spider-Man 3. They're just doing cameos. This is not a cameo. This guy, this iconic version of Batman, will be playing a very big role in Flashpoint, and I believe he will have his own movies and he will cameo in many, many DC Extended Universe films, right? So that's exciting. That's awesome, because I love Keaton's Batman as much as I love Ben Affleck's version of Batman. I don't think there's a version of Batman I hate. I mean, Clooney's one isn't great, but I actually thought his Bruce Wayne was pretty cool. But yeah, so expect to see Michael Keaton's Batman not just return in the big role in Andy Muschietti's Flashpoint, but to get his own Batman legacy movie, and also cameo in a lot of DC Extended Universe movies as well. So I hope that answered your two questions. Scott, comment down below. I want to know your comments on everything I have spoken about today. So comment down below, like, share and subscribe. Tell everyone that you know about this channel. Let's get people watching and interacting with a channel that's actually run by a fan, right? who's not just here to make money and just add you as a number. Your voice matters. Your view matters, because I'm like you, a fan. So I shall see you tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.